Hey guys, Vincent back with another video for Tails Coffee. Today, I'm gonna talk about how pouring makes a difference in your coffees. So today's video is gonna be a pour over discussion video again, and it's gonna be about pouring, which is a follow-up to my water flow and to my an older kettle video. If you haven't watched them, link will be in the description below. But essentially, I wanted to help people understand what I'm thinking when I'm pouring my coffees or brewing my coffees, because a different kind of pour can actually create a different kind of coffee. So I've read a lot of the comments, and there are some concerns I wanted to address, and it actually comes down to a fundamental part of the single pour technique that I use a lot, and that is the pouring itself. So today, I'm actually gonna be showing you guys how the pours really make the difference. There are two main components that I think about when I'm doing my pours, and that is height, so where I'm pouring from, and then the speed at which I'm pouring at. For today's demonstration, I'll be mainly using the Buono kettle, the 500 ml one. It's got the best kind of control between speed and the flow rate, and I just think it's just the easiest for everyone to show with. If you use a different kettle, you can always watch my kettle video on why I picked this one, but any other kettle, you can try to use the same thing. I use a bunch of different kettles here, and I can recreate the same technique anyways. So it's just all about understanding the height at which you need to pour from and the speed at which you can achieve with your given kettle. So what do I mean by pouring height? Well, pouring height literally is just where your coffee spot or where your pouring spot is and where your coffee bed is. And in the beginning of a brew, I always encourage people to start as close to the bed as possible so you can have the longest first drip. And this allows your first drip of the coffee to be as strong and as sweet as possible. Now, this technique really matters towards the middle of the coffee. When I say pouring closer though, you're actually pouring a little bit slower. When you're pouring a little bit higher, you're pouring a little bit faster. So why this really matters is when you have beans that give off more gases, it just means you have to pour slower. When you pour slower, you want to be closer because you want to have less agitation to it. You want to extract each little grain that's giving off a lot of gases as slowly as possible because the gases are trying to push away the waters from extracting the flavors. When you see beans that have a little bit less gases, like your lighter roasts or your African coffees tend to have less gases, then you want to slowly lift your way up and pour from a higher height at a higher speed, because it's easier for you to get all the grinds to sink down quicker. So for speed, it literally is just how fast you're pouring the waters. I already kind of just roughly talked about how when you pour closer, you want to pour slower. When you pour farther, higher, you want to pour faster. But within the fast and the slow, there's a lot of different paces. When I say slow, I mean like, it's just like you want to be as gentle as possible because the gases are being violent. And so when you pour slow and close, you have the least agitation possible. And so please just look at what your beans are telling you and decide how slow is your slow, because you never want to have a mushroom cloud. You want to be slowly pressing all your coffees down. Now for the faster ones, you don't want to ever pour too high. If you want more speed, you can actually pour down the middle. Pouring down the middle allows the coffees to flow down faster. Or you can pour down the side and just finish really quickly as well, and that is also okay. The fundamentals behind this speed is actually a little bit more complicated, so I'm gonna show you guys with an Ethiopian coffee that I have, like in the last video, that is a little bit slower, so I wanna be pouring from a little bit higher, and I've got this Honduras coffee that I wanna be pouring from a little bit closer. So let's get right into the demonstration. So here I've already set everything up. The paper's already preset or pre-wet. I've heated everything up. I've got my hot water here. This is the kettle. So we're starting with the Honduras coffee. This is the higher gas one. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a pour right in the middle as slowly as we can. And we're gonna slowly work our way out. You guys can see how this has a lot of gases already on the sides coming out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna slowly rotate and very carefully control the pour to match. And then once we get to the edges, we do the flush. And because there's still a lot of darker grinds left, we can go back into the middle. I know we talked about not going back into the middle, but this coffee tends to have a lot more grinds or a lot darkerness. So you're gonna give that a quick stir. And you'll notice that on the sides, we're gonna have nice amount of crema, nice amount of cream. So we're finished at the 157, 158 timing. Give it a quick tap. I'm gonna flatten the bed just because I wanna move it up to camera. I don't want all the liquids dripping everywhere. Normally there's gonna be a little bit of a dome. As you guys can see, the edges, they'll not have a lot of grit around it, just a little bit over there. You can see it's pretty clear. There's not a lot of brown stuff. More of like the kind of like creamy and kind of bubbly stuff is in the middle, and that's kind of because we stirred and we've got it on the edges. So pouring slow allows us to have a little bit, it becomes a bit more pasty because we pour so slowly and give it a nice stir, but that's how you want to do it for like faster draining coffees, which tend to be the gassier ones, like my Honduras coffee. And you're gonna get a nice, good timing still. We still ended at around 2 minutes, and that's how I determine that this is a good cup of coffee. So here we have the Ethiopian coffee. We're gonna start by pouring really slow down the middle as always. You're gonna notice right away that there's a lot less gases coming in. You can see that the edges are not as high as well as the last one, and more of the white crema is just already lifting up. And we're gonna be slowly pushing the walls to the outside. And as we do that, we're gonna pour from a higher height. You can see that I'm already starting to pour a lot faster. Do the flush. Notice how all the grinds are already pushed down. You just wanna run down the side. This is how you get a lot of speed. You hit your desired ratio, give it a stir. And that is how you pour faster to compensate for a faster sinking coffee. You want to essentially extract everything and just flush out all the flavors as quickly as you possibly can. The higher it is up there, the faster it'll just drip down as well. But we're still, because it is a faster sinking coffee, you're gonna get closer to a 2-minute pour still. So we're gonna let that finish, and I'm gonna show you guys what the aftermath of everything is and show you guys what the grinds look like. So as everybody can see, this coffee ended up with a little bit of dome. I decided not to tap it just so I could show everybody what it would look like. You can see that there's a little bit of grinds on the side, not too much, and that's the result of like pushing and flushing a little bit faster. But towards the middle, there's nothing really, so that's still a good pour. It's just at the top, I probably should have stirred like half second faster or earlier, and we're gonna have a nice dome shape. But yeah, this is an indication of a well brewed coffee, just not having too much on the walls here. A little bit of thickness to kind of make sure there's no side channeling. But yeah, I hope that you guys can see that there's a difference in the two pours. Try it out, let me know what you think. So I hope everybody has learned how adjusting the pour can make your coffees a little bit better. If you like our content, please like our video, subscribe to us, hit the bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.